Welcome to the For Education channel. I'm Teoman.
Hello, welcome. I'm Efe. Today
Efe,
we will be doing stock analysis. So,
Efe, what do you see in the future of SPY?
so as we can see in the recent days, SPY has dropped quite a lot, in fact. And if you look at the long ongoing trend line over here, we can see that it has broken through. So, so we can think that SPY either will continue going down or it will go up again and continue with the
Okay.
current going on support line.
Yeah, and
So,
do you think there's a basis for that in the global market or something, or is that just speculation on the market?
uh, personally, this is my own speculation, but if we think logically, it can either go down or it can come back. So yeah, that's what I think.
But I believe that the reason for the recent increase in SPY is because Fed said last month that they're only going to be increasing the interest rates by half a point.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
that's
market was
exactly.
relaxed and it started
Yeah.
increasing. But then why would you think that it started decreasing today? The value
The
of SPY.
decrease is in fact from the tech squeeze, which happened in the recent days, and in
Hmm.
fact, it hit all of the indexes. It affected Nasdaq the most, and Dow Jones
Hmm.
the least, and SPY is kind of in the middle. So yeah,
Okay, that's interesting. So other
yeah,
than that, connecting SPY to the world politics, not just in America, because as you know, the world politics decide what SPY's movement is gonna be like. So maybe the recent developments on the special incursion of the Russian army on Ukraine, what do you think that's effect on SPY is?
I think certainly that's an effect on SPY because SPY is not just in America, as you said, it's a global index, in fact. Because I mean, you could say SPY is one of the biggest indexes in the world. So
Yeah.
the current, Russian conflict, I think, will affect SPY in a drastic way.
And has it been?
Yeah, I think so.
And can you show that in graph?
Uh, so we can see, well, if you look on long term here, we can see that SPY has dropped a lot. This is partly due to the economic situation in America, but I also think that it's due to the overall situation in the global world right now.
So
And
basically sum up, we cannot say that only one event can affect SPY on the long term. Maybe just one bar, yes, but in the long term, there has to be a series of things happening in the world,
yeah,
like the inflation rising all over the world, not just in America, but in Europe, in England, in Turkey. In China, the growth rates are dropping, and you know what's happening there better than I do, as a
yeah,
Chinese yourself.
yeah. So as I mentioned, again, SPY is a global index. Therefore, it reflects all of the global events, and it basically is a sum of all of the events in the world as well as in America.
And could you zoom out a lot?
Yeah, of course.
So as you can see, SPY is kind of breaking the downward pattern that occurred because of the COVID-19 pandemic and its after effects. Do you think this increase is gonna last in the following year in 2023 for the viewers that are watching in the future? Or do you think it's gonna reverse somehow and that it's a pattern that it's gonna start decreasing? So maybe I don't know, 340?
Well, the last 1 to 2 years have been very unpredictable, and I believe that in the continuing years it will continue to be unpredictable because of different events happening, whether it's the Russian-Ukrainian conflict or it's the inflation rising all over the world, or the COVID-19. All of these have been unpredictable events, and I think that if there are no such events, we could see continuation of SPY going up, but I don't think that there won't be such events in the continuing.
Have they been really unpredictable? Like, the United States has printed more United States dollars in the pandemic. I think, what was it? Like 50% of the all of United States dollars were printed in the pandemic. So I think, and they handed out money basically for free. So I think it was predictable that the inflation was going to rise, and certainly after the pandemic ended all over the world. And also the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has been continuing since what, 2014, with Crimea, and then the war actually never ended there. The conflict, I mean. Yeah, it decreased, but then like with the latest operation, that it's been like 9 months now. I mean, it wasn't that unpredictable. Maybe you could predict that, I don't know, Taiwan against China in the foreseeable future, because China is approaching its maximum, and maybe it's gonna peak and it's gonna want to attack Taiwan and retake it to the homeland country before it starts decreasing in power. I don't know, like if you analyze it geopolitically and in a business term as well, with finance, I think the world markets, though it may be a bit unpredictable, I think you can predict the general way that it's gonna go.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like some events might happen that we don't expect, such as the COVID-19 from before.
Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
but unless a pandemic happens, what do you
but
reckon the market movement's gonna be like? Upwards or downwards? Like, there's one Jeff Bezos site. He says that one of the biggest recessions that we're ever gonna be seeing is approaching, and the other sides, like the classic economists, are saying that we're heading upwards, and from here we're gonna break the downwards pattern and start increasing. Which side are you on? That's what I'm asking, basically.
personally, I believe in the recession part, because I believe that following the inflationary rise, there will be a recessionary gap continuing through that. And also, now that you mention it, I want to add that the conflict between China and Taiwan is very probable in
What
my
do you mean by
eyes.
Taiwan? Could you elaborate on that?
Excuse me, what did you ask?
Sorry for the interruption. Could you elaborate on what you meant by Taiwan?
Oh, I meant the Taipei province in China. So I
Oh,
think that it's
okay.
very probable that China will retake its Taipei province, and this could affect the indexes. In fact, it would affect them quite negatively.
If it
But
happens, yes.
yeah, but I think that the indexes are more affected by economic downturn in America rather than war, because obviously SPY is an American index, so that would affect SPY a lot more.
Yeah. Sure, I agree with that. Okay, we can continue with SASA, or while at indexes, do you think that we should open a Chinese index maybe following this conversation that we just had?
Okay, we could. I believe, let me check.
Shanghai index, Hong Kong index, either. Shanghai would.
Well, whatever, we can just check from here, I guess. We'll talk briefly on it. So,
Yeah.
in fact, recently there's been a rise.
Yeah. Do you know the reason for that?
No, could you please elaborate on it?
Yeah. So as you're aware, China had followed the zero COVID policy for quite some time now, and even though the numbers of the infected decreased sufficiently for some countries, China still followed the zero COVID policy, quarantining anybody that was infected, which affected the economy really bad, and China growth rates decreased substantially. And recently, because of the ongoing protests, which some people call the second version of Tiananmen Square, the Chinese government relapsed on its zero COVID policy decision, and the market saw that as a good thing and started increasing on the happy news.
Do you think that this rise will continue in the Chinese index?
I mean, the only reason that it stopped increasing and it started decreasing, and the only reason that, which I believe, in my opinion, the only reason that it stopped growing was the zero COVID policy. And if they're loosening their policy, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't increase, because China has the manpower, it has the factories, even though it started losing clients such as Apple, but that was because of the zero COVID policy as well, because the workers protested, and Apple's production in China decreased a lot. So did Tesla's, which we're going to be looking at later.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. China certainly has a strong economy and has the resources in order to grow further. So with loosening zero COVID policies, I think there's a lot of room for growth.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. So if we move on to our second topic, it's about a Turkish stock, in fact. I think you know about this stock more than I do. So could you please explain the situation with SASA polyester?
Yeah, people call this the second GameStop incident, and it made the headlines in the Bloomberg News, Bloomberg Business. SASA Polyester, which did not make any new decisions or did not change anything about the company. People just started randomly, according to the CEO, investing in the company, and it grew by 600%. If I remember correctly, overnight. And SASA Industries, SASA Polyester, was a subsidiary of Sabancı, which is one of the largest holdings in Turkey. But it broke off like 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But now it is 10 times more valuable than that company, even though realistically and disregarding the finances at the stock market, in business terms, it's much smaller. The bubble popped, as everyone predicted, at some point. So the decrease can be explained with that.
Sorry for interrupting, but I think I heard that an executive of SASA has in fact made an announcement regarding the price of the stocks.
Yeah, the chief executive officer did.
Yeah, what do you think about his announcement? And
I mean,
SASA?
He begged people to stop investing in his company because he didn't know what to make with this money, and he knew that the bubble would pop at some point. Which is the reason he wanted that. He's not stupid. He, of course, likes money. And also there are rumors in Turkey that even though SASA is currently being traded in like, what is that? $97? Close enough. I've heard that SASA sold some of its shares to foreigners in $60 in order to decrease in price.
Also, I heard that the CEO also said that they sold SASA at 80 as well in order to try to slow the price increase and the damage
curb the increase.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting because objectively, Turkey's economy is not doing great. Its inflation is, according to states statistics, it's in 2 digits, almost 9% now. 87.5, if I'm not mistaken. But according to independent sources, which are actually banned and are illegal to use in Turkey, it's 185% inflation. And like being a Turkish citizen, if I just open one of the online shopping apps that I use, the one of the restaurants that I used to order in, it costs 3 times more now. So I'd say the effect of that inflation has been around 300% for us. And despite all of that, the government keeps decreasing the interest rates, which is now in single digit, 9% to be exact. So they are following a different type of economic school, I think, which is called ergonomics in some media. But we're gonna see if it works, and if it works, it is gonna be rewriting economical and financial history because it doesn't apply it. Yeah, doesn't fit any theorem, but if it works, we'll see.
Yeah,
Hopefully it does, for
hopefully.
the sake of the country.
So I think that's it for SASA.
Yeah,
Now
I'd
we
say
can
so.
now we can move on to Tesla, I guess.
Mhm.
So with Tesla, we can see that there's been a long-term decline in the stock price. And one of the major reasons is that Tesla has had a downfall in demand in China. So what do you think of this?
Not just demand, but also they had some supply issues. Just like Apple, they had problems. The gigafactories were closed down because of the COVID policies, because someone was infected in the area, in the province. Then the factory was closed, so they had supply issues, which was one of the reasons why they couldn't produce as much as they would like have to. But still, they have growth.
Do you
I'm
think
of course looking at a business perspective. You're the finance person here, as the chief financial officer, but like they are rolling out with new products such as the Tesla now has a truck, an electrical truck, I think. Probably, obviously. Oh, maybe one of the reasons that for this downturn is, you guessed it, probably, right?
probably?
Did you?
Would you care to say it?
Sure. Twitter?
Oh yeah, obviously. Twitter has had a massive effect, yes.
Yeah, so as you know, Twitter has been privatized, and it laid off a lot of employees, even though it was supporting free speech. Some people say that that's not my idea, that's some people's ideas, that it actually became worse because Elon Musk is just firing the people, his employees that criticize him. And also in business terms, so if Twitter becomes successful, just like Turkey, it's gonna revolutionize what's taught in MBAs, because it.
Yeah.
So in the past, CEOs had been acting like that. What Elon Musk act like, authoritative, father-like figures that had all the decision power and didn't give any authority to the employees. But now, in the more recent business theories and what occurs in like today, as you can see in Microsoft, Google, employees empower employees, give them authority, and they much less authoritative than Elon Musk is.
Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't a change for the good. If Elon Musk becomes successful, he will prove that. At least be an example of that. That's turning into that is not the only way to go forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a very, well, it's as you mentioned, similar to Turkey. I mean, if it works, it will create a new idea of sorts or theory into these branches of human sciences. Do you want to add anything else, Tesla?
Yeah, we talked more on Twitter, but didn't explain much about Tesla. Would you like to analyze its graph with your financial indicators?
I mean, as we can see, Tesla is on a long-term down. But in fact, we can see here that there's a distribution stage over here, and then it is continued by a redistribution. However, over here, it appears that there might be an accumulation, which could mean that it could increase to a certain level. However, I don't expect that level to be very high. It could perhaps recover just a little bit before continuing to drop. Other than that, if you look on long term, we can see that Tesla has always repeated this down, up pattern, but it's always been a steep downwards pattern continued by a very slow rise, except for this one. So yeah.
So you would expect it to, Tesla to rise in the long term?
No, in the long term, I think it will
Keep decreasing
or stay stable.
All right.
But I think in the short term, it could increase a little bit due to an accumulation happening right now.
I mean, in the very long term, I'm talking in years, Tesla is one of the most popular car producers in the world, and it actually has been. It sold the most electric cars in Europe in, I think, November or October. So the business has a future. Maybe if the company's CEO or its executive team follows a more stable and strict structure, and if they maybe, I don't know, change their system, because that the business side is not reflecting this totally, I believe. So there has to be some changes.
I think so too. If the right changes are made, I think Tesla in the extensive long term will increase. But it needs a lot of changes. So
it is really volatile because it came up as some sort of meme stock, but I do believe that it will have fewer and fewer moments like this, like such volatile things, as it grows as a company. Because if you look at the net value of Tesla, I mean, if you compare it to Apple or something, it is not that big of a company.
Yeah.
And as companies get bigger, their volatility decreases because their volume increases.
Yeah, certainly, I agree. So I think that's it for analysis and discussion for this video. So do you have any closing remarks you would like to add, or
I'll say that if you are interested in what's happening with Twitter or with China, you can always visit Fouraye.com and read our most recent articles.
Yeah, we upload very frequent articles there, and you could check
weekly
out if you're an investor looking for tips.
Not just an investor. If you're if you think that if you want a brighter future, you'll be enlightened by our business perspective, our finance perspective, and our technology perspective. Sometimes even politics. And as a closing remark, I want to reiterate that some of the opinions that we included in this video, no, none of them are our ideas.
Yeah, I also
especially in
want
the
to add that,
politics thing. We are just
none of
reflecting.
the ideas mentioned in this video is financial advice,
Yeah, that
and you
as well.
shouldn't at your own risk.
Yeah, you should first do your own research, but certainly you can use FS as a resource, but not as a final decision maker.
Yes, because we aren't giving financial advice. We're just discussing topics here. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. We put a lot of efforts to these videos, so we would appreciate if you like, comment down below, and subscribe. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for watching. Bye.